Hello, my friend. We're not all Ukrainians, but we're all watching the war in Ukraine. It's personal. It's personal more than previous wars because we cannot just shut our eyes to it. We cannot just shut our eyes to it as we have done previously with wars in Chechnya or Syria or the Yemen or Afghanistan. We cannot shut our eyes to this one because it's personal. It's like a war on ourselves. It's like a war on a Western way of life. It's a war on individual freedom, on democracy, on peace and normal, decent human existence. Of course, these other wars were too, but they were not as visible to us. It's a good thing that we've opened our eyes to war. It's of course a bad thing that this is happening. It's not just a bad thing, it feels like an evil thing. It feels as if all of the things we hold dear are in the balance. It feels as if we can never be quite sure again that if we live our lives right and we're good people and we work hard, everything will be all right. Somehow we have realized that other things can surpass that. There can be a pandemic which may take loved ones away of us or may actually end our own life. And now we see that a war can come for no good reason, inexplicably, suddenly. Huge violence can be done to a whole people so that they go on the run and they have to leave everything behind or everything gets destroyed. It's incredibly disturbing and we feel distraught about it. It is so important because it recalls what happened to our ancestors who were in World War I or World War II. It reminds us that life is not safe and we cannot take it for granted, but it also exposes us to the reality that we already know about, which is that we cannot trust all other human beings, and that some human beings may actually want to harm us, even though we haven't done anything to make them do that to us. They will still want to harm us. So how can we be in relation to that without going into despair, without giving up, and without wanting to just eliminate the bad guys? Of course, in Ukraine, they do need to go to that level. They need to fight for their very lives, which is tragic and horrendous. But we must take pause for thought. We who are not under fire, we must ask ourselves, how can we live in such a way that we recognize when some people are intolerant and they believe that they can take rights over other people? Because in so many small ways we know this from our own lives. In corporate existence, this happens lots, where bosses take advantage of workers, or they sack somebody because it suits them, or because it's better for their profit. The values that we have are very important. If we believe that we can't harm other people, then we will think twice behaving like that. But even if we don't behave like that ourselves, we may find ourselves exposed to people who do. So how do we live with that? We live with that by reaffirming the values that keep everyone safe and that makes for a world that can thrive rather than a world of destruction and mayhem and chaos. By reaffirming them and re-educating the people around us, the young people, to watch for the signs of when something's going wrong and to learn how to counter that before it's too late with a different energy, an energy of collaboration, tolerance, appreciation and respect for each other, of justice, and of making allowances for people's individual freedom. And it's also very much about cooperation and each contributing something to the others around us rather than just affirming our rights, what is good for us and what allows us to profit from other people's misery. So, a lot of food for thought, and we must all think about that. Take good care, my friend, but take nothing for granted and make sure that you establish the right values and keep them in your life, no matter what.